Here he is.
I'm in now, four-weight world champion, Mikey Garcia. Hopefully going to be connecting right now. Champ, how are
How you
you?
doing? I'm good. I'm
Good,
good.
I'm doing
Yourself?
good. I'm good, mate. I'm good. Listen, you're one of the lucky ones. You were one of the people who boxed just before the quarantine. So
Yes,
you're just chilling out now. How's life over there? What's it like?
That's good, man. Just here hanging out. Got my little one playing video games.
How's the
So
car
we're
collection?
just it's growing.
I bet it is after the last paycheck.
I bought me another car, but I'll promote it. I'll send it out once the time is right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
we've been hanging out. Like you said, we were fortunate to play to be able to fight right before the whole crisis. So it's really unfortunate for all the other fighters whose fights keep getting postponed or moved. But it's just a different life now right now.
Let's talk about that last fight against Jesse Vargas. Obviously, a great fight, great win for you. When we met in London, one thing I admire about you is you don't really care what weight class it is, obviously within reason, but we know that everybody seems to think your ideal weight class right now is 140. But is it just the stubbornness in you that where people say you're not a welterweight? You're not. I don't think you are a welterweight, and I think you're not a welterweight. But it's just that
I know I'm not. I know I'm not a welterweight, and I would definitely be better at a lower weight class, like 140 pounds. But I believe that my ability and my talent, and my experience will allow me to compete at the highest level, even at the 147-pound limit against the top guys. And that's why I'm deciding to stay at welterweight to try to secure big fights where I can show everybody that my talent is much greater than they've ever seen. And I think we were able to show some of that in our last fight against Jesse Vargas. We fought a tough fight. He's a tough fighter, very determined. He came to win. He was probably the best Jesse Vargas of his career, and I was still able to take control and show that even though he had height and reach and size advantage, I was able to overcome a lot of that. And I think I can do the same with a lot of the other top welterweights in the division.
particularly one of those, Manny Pacquiao, obviously not the biggest welterweight. He has got huge wins on his resume at 147 pounds. We know that sort of after that fight, there was some talk. We spoke to their guys, and obviously Saudi were looking at that fight as well. Is that still the standout fight for you in the division? I think the style matchup between you two is outstanding.
Yes, I would love that opportunity to fight Manny. I think styles, make fights, and he's not a tall, lanky fighter that can complicate things like Errol Spence did. Errol Spence is a tall fighter who uses the reach very effectively and height, and he's a southpaw, which always complicates things. Manny's still a southpaw, but he's a lot smaller in size, so he's shorter in height. It doesn't have the reach like some of these other welterweights. So I think that fits much better to get an entertaining fight with me, and I think it just fits right. I mean, I remember sparring with him years ago, and I was able to fight similar in the ways to like the Morales or Marquez, boxing. And we did very well. It was only sparring session, but I felt good. I was able to time. I was able to use my jab effectively, and that's why I think that fight makes the best sense right now, to prove to everybody that I can be a world champion at the welterweight limit.
Obviously, a fight that a lot of people are talking about right now. One guy you have shared the ring with in Errol Spence, the Terence Crawford matchup. I think it's up there. I think you against Manny and Crawford against Spence, two of the best fights pound for pound that could be made right now. Obviously, you've done the 12 rounds of Errol Spence. Do you see him beating Terence Crawford? I'm asking as a fan.
Look, I think that's a very complicated fight for both, because neither one of them has faced another guy that can box effectively, that can use the height and reach, and has great ring generalship, great boxing IQ like themselves. Terrence has fought some of the better fighters in the lower divisions, And lately, he hasn't really had the challenges. He hasn't really been faced against anybody with top challenge. Uh, Arrow is a terrific fighter. I think that would be a great matchup. You know, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick a winner. But that would be perfect. And then if I do a fight with Manny, I think that'd be another great matchup, like we've all talked about it. So I think those are the biggest fights at welterweight at the moment. There's a few other names that are also big fights,
Danny
big
Garcia.
names, but I think Danny Garcia, would be terrific. So there's a few big fights. There's a
I
big
like, listen, I
fights,
like
a
you
few
against
big
Sean
fights right
Porter as
now.
well.
I like all of them. I'm down to fight anybody. I ain't saying no to any name. As long as the timing is right, we settle on a good agreement, and I'm here for everybody.
I have to ask you as well about your former division where you won a world title as well. A fight coming up on DAZN once we get back up and running. Maurice Hooker against Regis Prograis. When me and you sat down in London, Regis was a name that was on that list as well. How do you see that fight playing out between those two?
Oh, that's a very good fight for both the guys right now. They both want to get back on top, so I'm sure they're going to be very hungry for a win, and they're going to get in the best shape possible. They know that a win brings opens doors to much bigger fights for either one of them. I actually think Regis Prograis might be the favorite on my end. I think he's solid, he's strong, and Hooker he got stopped by Jose Ramirez. So that's the only thing that kind of still in the back of my mind. Can even though it's a long time now, it's gonna be a long time by the time from the Ramirez fight. It still takes a while. Some fighters don't recover well from a stoppage. Don't come back as motivated or as sure of themselves. And that's the only question that I have about Hooker. So that's why I kind of lean towards the Regis Prograis victory.
Okay, mate. Listen, before we go, thanks for coming on with us, Mikey. Quick word out for your fans. Everybody's struggling right now, stuck indoors. Just stay positive.
Yeah. Just stay positive. Stay positive. Don't be going out for unnecessary things. It's a serious thing, man. This could be life changing. Worldwide. We never experienced anything like this. Never even imagined experiencing something like this around the world. And I was just talking to my brother yesterday, and it's kind of in a way funny, but it's serious business. When you look at things, if there's no vaccine developed soon, and this continues, who knows? I mean, we could be doing this for several years. We could have a whole new generation, of kids growing up knowing only this type of life, where everybody has to be wearing protective masks, or there's no more schools. Everything's online. Everything online, for the kids. No more playground. No more going to the theater unless you're wearing maybe a whole bodysuit or something. I mean, this could be really, really huge in the way it impacts life. So let's take care of things right now before it gets there. Stay home. Be very, very careful who you're with. Not to be around groups of people, large groups of people. And try to just be patient. Stay calm, be patient. We do things will go back to normal.
Mikey, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll catch up soon. Look forward to the next one.
Alrighty.
Cheers,
Pleasure.
mate.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.